What's up, Tweener heads? Welcome back to another Tweener Head Tennis video today here on our channel. And we have a very special guest, Game to Love podcast, Ben. We have one of the hosts today, not both. JG could not join us today, but I still got another half of them to talk about the Ultimate Tennis Showdown. Now, they just recently did a video on their channel, so make sure to go check that out. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But I wanted to have Ben on to talk about it and just discuss some of the things that were going on and what we thought of the Ultimate Tennis Showdown. But first off, thank you, Ben, for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me back on again. And sorry that JG can't make it this time.
Nah, it's all good. We'll get him on the next one.
We will indeed.
So we're here to talk about the Ultimate Tennis Showdown. Now, we were talking beforehand. You watched a little bit, correct? Or you watched most of it?
Yeah, I'd watched like the back end. I'd watched like maybe just before the semi-finals and then the semi-finals and the final, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So did you have an initial feeling before it started, and did it change anywhere after it finished?
Well, I think I was probably like everybody else when it was starting off, and then you saw this crazy format of a tennis tournament that I'd watched the rules popping up on the screen, and I was just like trying to take them all in one by one and work out. But literally, I watched the first match, and I still didn't know what was going on during the first match. I had no clue. And then I think it took me about 3 matches before I finally cottoned on to how they're using all of these extra like cards that they can play. Like, oh God, it takes a while to get your head around. But
yeah,
once I had eventually worked out what was going on, it was actually quite interesting. But I think that was mainly because the standard of tennis was really, really high, and that was the main thing to take away from the whole event for me.
I totally agree. I think to kind of the first topic of conversation with the format, when I first saw it, I thought it was more of, I wouldn't say a gimmick, but people saw it as a new format to try and test because it was very different. It was, what was it, best of 5 quarters or 4 quarters?
4 quarters, yeah.
4 quarters, both 10 minutes long, and you have to win as many points within that 10-minute quarter as you can. Now, there was also player cards used, like winners count as 3 points. You can steal someone's serve. You alternate serves every 2 serves, but if you steal serve, you can serve 4 straight times. And then you can have win in 3 shots max. It's like the list goes on and on, right? But there was no 15 love. It was just straight up like a tiebreaker points, regular scoring.
Yeah.
But it definitely took a while for non-tennis fans watching it for the first time to completely understand what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that this might, and maybe this is why they did it. The first thing I thought when I was watching it was, is this a computer game? Or that's exactly because we've got of Matteo, the Hammer, Berrettini versus the Greek, and it was like Street Fighter or something like that. I expected to see their energy bars at the top going down whilst they were playing or something. Like, but it was like that. And then the fact they've got these like special bonus things they can throw in at certain times. That's what reminded me of either that or a little bit, like I referred to on our podcast, a little bit like Titan games or something like that. I don't know if you've seen it. It was the drama that they were trying to bring to it.
It was, I want to talk about that more, but to stay on the format of it, I definitely think that they presented it in a more entertainment basis way. It wasn't traditional tennis. The whole goal that Patrick Mouratoglou wanted to start this was because he wanted it to give the players a platform to show their true emotions, to show their true game. And it did offer a lot of variety with trick shots and entertainment. And I do like that. For an exhibition, it really did feel like they were really trying to push something with everything going on.
I agree. I think for exhibition tennis, I think out of all of the exhibition tennis that we've had over the past, I don't know, couple of months, it's the one that stands out for me as probably the most interesting because at least I was tuning in, seeing something new, and I was actually interested. I was sort of learning how it was all working whilst I was watching it. So it was interesting in that respect. And it seems that the players were into it as well. They didn't seem that anybody was just there, maybe 1 or 2 were there just for a jolly up and just to have
one pair.
have a hit up. But the main men who were there, like your Berrettini's,
Mm-hmm.
your Dominic Thiem, Tsitsipas, like they were playing their top tennis, and that was great to see.
It was really entertaining from that perspective, and kind of going into the presentation of all of it. First off, we have to start with the nicknames, because the nicknames, I swear, when you hear an umpire said, the sniper leads 12 to 11, and I was like, first of all, I would, as a player, I'd be like, why? Like, do not call me by that. Do you
the
think
worst one for me was
which one?
they had to keep on repeating the Greek god like that. It's like, this is just cringe. Like having him like call himself the Greek god, and then having to keep
the Greek god,
and then for him to lose as well, being the Greek god is not good. It's not a good look for a god, is it?
Do you think they had any say in picking out their names?
Yeah, I reckon so, because I can see Tsitsipas picking that type of name for himself. But I don't know why.
But Popperin, the sniper, who's the Frenchman? The underdog.
Yeah, Dustin, the artist.
What was Benoit? Wasn't someone the magician? Who was the magician? Was there anyone? I don't think anyone was the magician. Goffin was the wall. Like, there were a lot with just
the wall.
The wall. I was like, what are you
interesting
talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
There were a couple, and we're both doing our on site research right now.
The rebel, that was Benoit Paire. Sorry,
the rebel was Benoit Paire. What's his name for Gasquet?
Lopez, the Torero.
Oh, the tornado. No, Moutet was the tornado. Moutet was the tornado, and Lopez, I think, was the toro, the bull.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think that rings a bell.
Torero. You're right.
I think it's the same thing, though, isn't it? Is it?
I have no. Toro in Italian means bull.
Oh, okay.
The virtuoso for Gasquet.
Okay.
So
interesting.
It's very interesting.
Don't stick in the mind so well, as you can see, these nicknames.
But the whole idea and concept of it was to give it a flair that wanted to bring more tennis fans and sports fans to just the entertainment side of it, to make tennis more accessible, and I guess the word I'm looking for is fun. Yeah,
for young people. Yeah, that's what it seemed like it was for. They're all the people on these video games these days. They're the ones that probably watch it and probably
sound old when you say that.
Mate, you don't even know the half of it. But that's what I mean. I don't play video games myself, but I used to play quite a lot, and I used to love like tennis games and that. And that's what it reminded me of. And one of the main things that reminded me of it, which I'm sure you all agree, was the camera angle. And I love the camera angle. That was the main one. And you get to see the speed of the rallies so much better. I don't know if you agree with that.
No, I didn't even think about it from that angle, because I've seen tennis broadcasts, especially at Wimbledon, when they have the smaller courts. They're usually up closer than maybe center court and grandstand, which are much farther back. But when you get up that close to the players, it definitely makes a difference when you watch the quality of play, especially with some of the top guys.
Oh, for sure. And these were the top guys playing. And you really saw, like, in some of those rallies they were having, how hard they're hitting the ball and getting it back. And you see how fast the serve is coming as well, and how their reaction speeds and things like that. That was the amazing thing for me. So I've always wanted the option to be able to watch points, or even at Grand Slams on big courts. Like, I would like to watch the match from that perspective more often, and you don't get the option. And you don't really give the players the respect they deserve. It just looks easy. They're just like, oh, look, Federer's just doing a nice one that way. It's just coming to him. He's got it all the time in the world. He doesn't. It's coming to him really fast, and he's just that good.
No one understands.
No, that's the problem. But with that angle, you start to understand a little bit more.
I wouldn't say, I should take that back. I wouldn't say no one understands, but most people that don't watch tennis a lot may not understand how hard it's being hit every time a ball is being played, or how high over the net it's being played, because there's a lot of those guys that are slapping it hard, especially Dustin Brown with that rocket of a forehand. You don't realize how flat that is until you get that close to their shots, especially the underneath angles. And one of the videos that went viral from it was Gasquet's backhand. Just the sound of it from the low
God.
angle was unbelievable.
It was firing some of the best backhands I've seen him doing in a while. Like
Yeah.
he I don't know what he must have just been. I don't know, in the zone. It just looked like every time he hit, it was the same technique, same technique. It was just going like this far over the net, perfect. He was hitting winner after winner, especially against Dustin Brown. Dustin Brown just thought, "What the hell am I supposed to do?"
I for his age too,
Yeah,
it was really, he played really well against some top young guys too, like Moutet, Pair, just like a good
yep.
Frenchman. All those guys, I think they all showed a little bit of who they really are and how well they can play.
Yeah, I think so. The only one, Dustin Brown, was a little bit of a letdown. But
I was about to ask you who surprised you the most and who was the most disappointing.
well, most disappointing first, I think Dustin Brown. That's one of the main reasons you tune in, because you think Dustin Brown, he's got all the tricks and stuff. I think I noticed a lot of people just commenting. He just looked a bit annoyed, really, because he couldn't even get close to Gasquet, and Gasquet was just blasting him off the court. I think if you
Yeah,
see the score of that match, it was obscene. It was about like 20 points to like 2 or something. It was just like, and that was for every set. I think he lost every one, didn't he?
yeah. He only won. I'm looking at the scoreboard right now from the last day, day 8 at least. And Dustin Brown won one match, lost 6, only won 7 sets, and lost 21.
Oh, that's mean.
It is mean, but
Yeah,
I personally thought Moutet, who went 2-4, could have done. I thought he was going to do better than Popper the way he was playing there,
yeah.
and I thought he would have been done well. Popper and I had high hopes for. I thought he would finish above Lopez.
Yeah, I didn't really catch too many of those guys' matches, to be honest. So I didn't see really how well they were playing.
Gasquet finished 6-2. He was the
Yeah,
he was,
that was my one I thought was probably the biggest surprise of the whole thing, because I didn't expect him to be playing at that level still. You see Gasquet and he sort of goes in these sort of peaks and troughs all the time. And I think recently he's sort of had a bit of, before the break, like this long hiatus, he
Mhm.
was playing pretty well and he's just started it again.
Yeah,
So
and I thought he did really well. Goffin finished 5-3. He was the 4 seed, and I thought he
yeah,
did pretty well as well for the wall.
the what?
For the wall.
But but the one thing I thought about both of those guys, which is, I don't know, it's a little bit sad because you see them playing such good tennis
Mhm.
against some of the other guys, and you think, wow, there's just like these guys could really challenge like the big guys. And then Goffin played Tsitsipas, and Tsitsipas literally just dismantled him easily. Like, and I'm literally so surprised of how well Tsitsipas played against him that now, if the US Open goes ahead, I think might even put a bit of money on Tsitsipas to perhaps take it. I don't know. I thought he was playing that well in it.
Yeah, but that also brings up the idea of, once you go back to how does this play after you play this format? How do you play in like a
Yeah,
regular 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5 after playing like just straight 10-minute quarters? Because the sets are going to last probably like an hour each, and that's
yeah,
usually how long these matches last. If they're four
yeah,
10-minute quarters, so you're playing what, 40 minutes at least?
yeah, yeah.
So,
It's difficult. I think the only people who could probably answer the question is the players themselves. I
mhm,
mean, obviously, they've got like these timeouts that they're having in it as well, which I don't like the fact that you can just call a timeout. Obviously, in normal tennis, that's obviously never going to happen. I
mhm,
don't want to see that. But I think that could be maybe the start of bridging the gap. I know there's been like coaching in the women's game and stuff
mhm.
like that coming in. I don't see why there shouldn't be coaching in tennis. Why? Why shouldn't at a changeover? Why shouldn't players be allowed to be coached?
Why can't they utilize it more for
Yeah.
the
Why?
players?
What if this was a boxing match, and then after every round, and a guy just had his face punched in for 5 minutes, or not, obviously 3 minutes in a
Mhm,
boxing match, or in a UFC fight or something like that, 5 minutes.
mhm,
They go back to the corner If they go, no coaching, they're like, well, how do I recover from this in the next round or in the next
Exactly.
game? You can't. You're literally going to go out there and you're going to get your face punched in again. And the
Even with,
same,
go ahead.
yeah, and that's the same thing in tennis, I think. If you go out there, obviously they're going to have a plan A, plan B, plan C, if this goes wrong, all that. But sometimes you just need an encouragement, or you need to have someone who can just talk to you in the right way. Because I watched one match, which was, I think it was in the women's game,
Mhm.
and it was Belinda Bencic, and she was up against, I'm going to forget her name now. It was the Greek.
Sakari,
Yeah, Sakari, yeah. And she's coached by the British guy. I
Tom
believe
Hill.
his name Tom Hill. Yeah, exactly. And Tom Hill came onto the court when she was, I believe she had lost the second set. I think it went to 3 sets and she'd lost
Mhm.
the second set. And she was down in the third final set. And he just said to her, look, I'm watching the match. Bencic isn't playing very well at all. If you just keep your shots in and stop going for everything, you're not playing your best tennis today at all. I'm not going to lie. But if
Mhm.
you just play with stop going for as much because you're missing and just keep it in, she's going to miss. And it happened. He did it. And then she won the match because of that. And that was, for me, I'd not seen many coaching on courts before, but that was a prime example. Great coaching.
Yeah.
And you could have that so much, like many more times, and you might see other people crack that top 3. You don't know if that happened.
I totally agree. I think it's kind of weird how the women have their coaches come down to them, whether it's a man or a woman. They
Yeah,
come do their on court coaching, but the men don't. And even in golf, if you look at it, to use another sports example, even the
yeah,
golfers, they're by themselves, but they have a caddy that helps them pick their shots
yeah,
and helps them at least analyze what else they can do to give other options.
yeah,
Why in tennis they don't allow that for men and women is kind of weird to me, or just doesn't seem fair, because coaches have a lot more to offer than just off court coaching, because you can
yes,
do all the coaching, you can do all the practices and do all the practice sets and do all the drills by yourself, but when it comes to a match, you may need a little more advice than just yourself.
yeah.
So
I think,
I did like those on court coaching ones that they had,
yeah.
even though refusals were pretty funny to see if they didn't want, don't break it.
I know. I'm trying not to. Just readjusting.
And but I think yeah, the encore coaching was good. I liked the in between set interviews. What do you think of those?
These, they had the same in the Battle of the Brits as well, and I'm not sure how I feel about in between game interviews or in between set interviews.
Sets make more sense than games.
Sets,
Games
yeah.
no.
No, I just feel that, I don't know, like leave the players alone during the match for me. I just think it's between you and, like, because if they started doing that, to use the same example, if they had to go over to boxers halfway in between rounds or something and just start asking them, how do you think the fight's going? Do you think you're doing all right? No, just get out. Look, you're in the zone. You just want to stay in the zone. If you're constantly thinking, like, especially you've got people who don't like talking to,
Mm,
like, media and stuff, and they're a bit shy, they probably get more nervous about that than the match.
yeah.
And I think it's unfair on those people. That at least just give them one after the match that they can just struggle through awkwardly. Don't give
Mhm.
them like one after every set.
Yeah. I
I don't know.
No, I like that. I would think, to kind of build on that, for those who don't like it, why don't you just do in between sets? I know ESP for coaches. I mean, you
Yeah,
do,
yeah,
the coaches would make a lot more sense. You pull them away from their box, do a like in between interview for that, kind of build upon that idea.
yeah.
But for players, it can be tricky. I did like it with some of the players, like they did pretty well. I think it was a little bit forced when they started asking Sissipas to sing a song or Mutet to rap in between. It was like, please,
Yeah,
God,
why?
don't do it. I'm not gonna. No one's gonna like it. But I thought it was. I thought it was a good idea. I thought it was a good idea, to say the least.
Yeah, it was nice to see. It was good to see. I thought it was interesting. Wasn't it Tsitsipas's corner? His dad just talks to him in English and he talks back in Greek, which was a bit difficult for everyone watching to understand what he
Weird.
was saying. Yeah,
Weird.
But I thought it might be the other way around, if anything. But
Yeah.
maybe his dad was respecting the tournament more than Tsitsipas himself.
Ooh. Even though Tsitsipas is under Mouratoglou's name for coaching, even though it's his dad.
Yeah, but he's a bit more of a hot. I don't know. He comes across a little bit of a hothead when he's on the court. I think he has like a different.
He's focused more.
He gets really pissed off really easily, I think, and you could see in between the rounds, and that's why I don't like in between the rounds, in between the games, or when they've had the timeout.
Mm-hmm.
When he had to even put the headset on, you can see he's notably frustrated about having to put a headset on. He just keeps on adjusting it every second. He's just like, as soon as he finished, he just like launches it off. And I don't think it's right to put a headset on someone who's boiling hot as well. Who wants to wear a headset when they're sweating their all down their face and stuff? I don't know.
I think that happened at the next gen for him. I thought when he threw his headset. I might be wrong on that.
Possible.
It might be possible, but I thought it was funny. You could see the hot-headedness when Moutet. This happened twice with Tsitsipas's dad. Did you see how his dad was talking during Berrettini's serve and Moutet's serve, and both Moutet and Berrettini called him out?
Yeah. I saw that they called him out. Yeah.
Like Moutet, I feel like would start a fight for no reason. Like the way he's like throwing his rackets and starting stuff, and that confrontation he had with Tsitsipas, and Tsitsipas is like, "Oh, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit." And I'm like, Moutet's gonna throw his racket at Tsitsipas's dad, like in the stands.
Might do.
Like, shut up. Like, there's no getting around it.
Some players, that's what I mean. When you get in the zone can be a good thing and a bad thing for people as well, because this is where you see all the rackets break. But if you've got people who are affecting the game, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be there. Like, I feel bad enough for umpires that affect the game with line calls. They're just feet from some angry players, and that's probably a horrible experience for them to have to go through.
Yeah,
but you never know. Well, you never know what's coming your way. You sort of, and it wasn't the right example. I always bring up Nalbandian, but that wasn't him attacking him. It was just frustration. If you're that close to any tennis player,
how do you forget that he's sitting there? Like, you're blinded by rage.
Literally. And then the same with Shapovalov. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
You can hit an umpire in the face by accident. You've seen lots of players it's happened to. I think it was it Henman or Murray or so? They hit ball girls. People, they've all been like in frustration, hit a ball at the net or something, and they hit people who are innocent people.
Yeah, Darren King or Michael Moe, I forget which one, but someone threw their racket against the back net and hit a line judge during a challenger. It's like for tennis players to like do that, you understand their frustration. You can see why they're upset.
Yeah.
But once you like lose it, some people can really forget where they are and the situation that they're in.
I think they do, and it's I think everybody forgets how tough tennis is on just like because it's an individual sport and how much stress like a tennis player is under to perform well and all the repercussions you can have from losing certain matches. They put a lot of pressure on themselves. I think that's the main problem. Each match could be like them dropping down rankings or dropping down into the next tier again, and there's a lot of pressure, and a lot of some tennis players are, you can tell, are just sport brats that are on court, and I've played against them when I was younger.
I thought you were going to say JG.
No, well, yet to see that. We're going to have that match at some point soon.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, so I've been there, and you just see people. They're young kids, and they're moaning around the court. It's not fun for them. They're just like, if they miss, they're just complaining about everything, and you just don't want to see that. It's obviously not the way it should be. It's a sport first and foremost, and you should treat it as something that's fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that you need to be taking it as seriously to the point where you're smashing stuff up. Like, yeah, get annoyed at yourself. Yeah. And just like maybe say something. You don't have to start smashing, putting other people's, well, not lives in danger, but you might injure someone else. That's all.
And I'll admit, like, I had a bad temper when I was a kid, and it took me until I was like 14, 15 to kind of understand what I was doing. Like, I think I still have my first racket, and it's bent like this. Like, the
Oh
frame of
wow.
it's like, yeah, but after a while, you have to learn that you have to, like, get over that idea. Like, you can be frustrated, but if you're, like, in your late teens or you're in your early 20s and you're still throwing fits like that,
Yeah.
seek help.
I think what they should do, you get 2 rackets. That's all you get. You break the first one, tough luck. Right, you got one left. If you break that one, forfeit the match, you're out.
It's like
Like
it's like Mario Tennis. It's like if you break one, second one runs out of fuel, you're done. You're forfeit the match.
yeah, if you actually physically smash the racket up, I reckon they don't have them on the court so they can access them. Like,
Yeah.
if you break a string, your coach will run another one on.
Mhm.
But unless that, if you smash your racket up twice, you're off. Done.
We've solved throwing fits for the tennis world. We
That's
figured it
it.
out. We figured it out.
Add that into the new UTS system, Patrick.
Dear God. I like what he did, and I like how they presented it. The finale, the trophy presentation, I think we're gonna end on this too. Is like
Well,
the lightning bolt of a trophy. It's like I didn't even know it was a trophy. I thought it was just like a present that you would get for winning. But no, the lightning bolt that Matteo Berrettini held, and that thing's got to weigh at least like 20 pounds.
yeah,
That, like, he's like full flexing when he's holding that in the air. Like, that's
loving it.
huge. That was huge.
Yeah, but I don't know. But where is he going to put that now?
How do you travel with that? Is that not considered a weapon?
It's a sharp object, isn't it? Where's it going to go?
You can literally kill someone with that lightning bolt.
Maybe. Well, I don't want to say keep that away from him if he's getting angry on court. Then.
Don't give it to Tsitsipas. He actually might throw it because he's the Greek god.
Oh yeah, don't forget. Yeah, I thought he might have an actual Greek god's name rather than just calling himself the Greek god.
Interesting. Or he could just write his name in Greek, and that would be his name.
Yeah, like what was the team? His name was just Domi, wasn't it?
I
He
have
didn't even
no
give.
idea.
He didn't even give himself a. He was like,
He never played, remember? Did he
he
play
did.
one?
Yeah, he played, and he was doing well. He even beat Tsitsipas.
Well, he retired to play his own tournament.
Exactly. But that's what I mean. Like he's like, doesn't matter about my nickname. I'm just gonna leave.
I'm going to show up, play, and then leave.
Did he just join that and then decide to organize something in the middle of it, or did he
No,
just?
I think it was originally organized, and he just came late. I think that was the whole plan since the beginning.
Playing well as well.
Yeah, but going from the Adria Tour to there to then his own tournament, and now he's playing in Germany. It's like,
But then he went and lost to Rublev. So
lol.
yeah, so there you go. That's what you get. And
That's what you get.
He could have probably won that tournament because he beat Tsitsipas already, and he
Yeah.
could have probably beaten Berrettini as well. And one thing that I'm just always bugging me, he's talking about just not really trying to do the US Open and going for the French Open. And for me, he has a better chance winning the US Open.
Well, it looks like Rafa's not even going to play the U.S. Open because he already committed to Madrid. Novak's probably, I would doubt that he would go to, that's like another video that we have to make, is the idea of the U.S. Open being played and who's actually going to play in it.
Well, I think teams should just keep playing hardcore and go for the US Open because look, if he'd have had a coach in that final against Djokovic when he was leading and we had this coaching, I reckon he'd have won that.
Where at the U.S. Open last year?
No, the Aussie Open. He got to the
Open,
final. Yeah, when he got to the fight, he was leading. All he needed was that just small mental side of things, just of how to, because someone who could see it from the outside, like Djokovic is constantly doing this all the time. Djokovic is just getting it back. Maybe you just push it here, push it there. This is how we're going to just grind this out and just get this over the line. He didn't have that. He just bottled it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think it could help somebody like surpass the mentally strong players like Djokovic.
Yeah, I agree. That's where on court coaching really does benefit everyone.
Yeah, so I think so.
So to wrap up this whole conversation about UTS, what's one takeaway you think UTS provided that could be used on tour, and what's one thing that you think should just stay for entertainment purposes? Looking at the broader scheme of tennis.
The broader scheme of tennis, definitely on-court coaching for men's tennis. Well, I think in Grand Slam, because they don't have it for Grand Slams for women, do they either? But
I think they want to start it though.
Yeah, I think they should have it for all matches. Should bring it in. I think for WTA and ATP, you should be allowed to be coached if it's in between a set or if it's just in between a game, and you can call them over maybe once per set or something in the middle, something like that. I don't know. And then something that they shouldn't definitely bring in is cards that they could win bonus points if you can get 3 points on the next one.
It's like the guys that just slap balls and just hit winners all the time. It's like, okay, I'm going to play this card every 5 points.
I thought it was going to be John Isner's favorite. He would just be like, right.
Oh, yeah, stealing serve, too. Imagine you go 2 straight service games and you're already up a break, essentially.
Exactly. So
imagine that. Like Opelka probably would have already won a slam.
Mate, exactly. Maybe they'll be campaigning for it.
Yeah, sure. Well, Ben, I really appreciate you coming on to our channel and talking to us again about the UTS. If you guys want to check out his own video with JG on the Games to Love podcast, I'll leave a link to their video about the Ultimate Tennis Showdown down in the description below. And again, Ben, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again to Ben for coming on. Thanks, guys.
Pleasure.